One of the biggest and most theorizable mysteries of Phineas and Ferb is the true whereabouts of their biological parents. They are hardly ever mentioned, but we know that Phineas and Ferb are half-brothers, so there has to be a missing father figure and a missing mother figure out there. For some reason as a kid, I thought Doofenshmirtz was Phineas's official missing father and that everyone asking that question was simply people who hadn't seen the series, but I couldn't have been more wrong. This is a more mysterious mystery than we are used to, and taking advantage of the fact that I remembered this from the part of Bill's book where he says that Bill Cipher is Phineas' secret father, and since it seems that the new season of Phineas and Ferb will be out in a few months, I thought it would be a good idea to make an easy and simple video giving a quick look at this mystery, and I couldn't have been more wrong. What brought me to this mystery in the first place, that page from Bill's book, is nothing more than a joke keeping in mind that Bill is a triangle and Phineas is a triangle with legs. But after reading that, I took a look at what I thought on the internet, and the number one theory, bottom line, is the same one I had as a kid. Doofenshmirtz is Phineas' father. The theory, roughly speaking, goes something like this. Since Phineas is an inventor and has a Dorito head, it makes sense that his father would be an inventor with a triangular head. And the only character who meets both criteria in the entire series is Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, who was conveniently shown having a romantic tryst with Phineas's mother Linda in the past. But if you pay attention to Linda's life and the circumstances under which she had Phineas and Candace, the theory falls apart very easily. The strongest point of the theory, the fact that Linda and Heinz were romantically involved in the past, comes from the episode What Do It Do from season 2. Here Doofenshmirtz tells Perry about one of his disastrous dates when he was younger. In the flashback, we see Linda and Doof walking into a drive-in movie theater, and the two talk about what they want to do in the future. Zanzibar's What Do It Do plays on the radio, and Linda says that song makes her want to be a pop star. Doof scoffs and tells her it's like he's going to get control of the world. But Linda tells him why not, although he could start smaller, getting control of the tri-state area. So it all sounds good, but the first and biggest problem is that Doof ruins the date and at the end of the flashback says he never saw her again. Some say it doesn't matter because it was on that date that they did the Fruitifantastic and created Phineas, but that doesn't make any sense. And it's not just because Doof failed miserably. At the beginning of the episode, it's mentioned that the Zanzibar song came out in 1982, and in Doof's flashback on the radio, they say it's the new Zanzibar hit. And so this takes place in 1982 before Linda became Lindana. At the end of the episode, Phineas and Ferb's Christmas Vacation, we see that Linda receives as a gift a t-shirt from a Lindana tour in 1985. And since her career was quite short, she surely started it there or very close. And well, in the Max Moden episode, Linda tells Candace that at the time it was a lot of fun to be a pop star, but that she was more than willing to give up that life and build a family. And since Candace was born long after Linda ended her music career and retired to be Lindana in the late 1980s, and besides Phineas was born about 7 years after Candace, the date with Doofenshmirtz had to have happened at least 15 years before Phineas was born, if not more. And if that's not enough for you, Dan Povenmire and Swampy Marsh, the creators of Phineas and Ferb, have confirmed countless times on Twitter and TikTok and everywhere that Doofenshmirtz is not Phineas' biological father, nor Candace's. They confirmed that, obviously Phineas and Candace have the same biological father, but that father is not Doofenshmirtz. And the identity of the subject as such is completely irrelevant to the series. But that doesn't mean he hasn't been mentioned. Although the creators are keeping fairly quiet about the true identity of Phineas and Candace's father, there was only one occasion in the entire series where he was directly mentioned. In the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special, Candace and Phineas are two siblings who were separated as infants, as Candace left Tatooine to enlist in the Empire shortly before Phineas's birth. And at the end of the special, when they think they will die in the Death Star explosion, they have this curious conversation.
I guess if I have a regret, it's that I never got reunited with my sister. She left Tatooine when I was just a baby.
Phineas?
Candace?
Oh, I can't believe it!
Candace!
You've gotten so big! I didn't even recognize you! Hey, wait a minute. Why is this guy hugging us?
Oh, this is Ferb. He's our stepbrother.
Mom remarried? What happened to Dad?
Funny story, actually.
Despite clearly being a tease regarding the series' most mysterious mystery, this confirms two very important things for us. Yes, Linda was married before, but more importantly, what happened to her husband wasn't traumatic. It was funny, which is just weird as hell because I can't think of what part of a father leaving his family can be funny, but we'll come back to that in a moment. For now, I think we should take a look at the other theories I found out there to see if any other options sound right. For example, another popular theory comes from this post on Tumblr, which claims that the real father of Phineas and Candace is Pinhead Pierre, the protagonist of a children's show in England, which was curiously a favorite of Lawrence, Ferb's father. And at first, like Doofenshmirtz's theory, it doesn't sound so bad, since the physiological similarities are definitely there, and the age would also fit, apart from the fact that he could have met Linda since she was another celebrity. And well, considering she dated Doofenshmirtz, I guess it's not so crazy to assume she would have dated this gentleman. But leaving aside the small problem that it would be a pretty shady secret for Linda and Candace not to have told Lawrence that one of his childhood idols is the father of his stepchildren, the theory also holds that Pierre died shortly after the birth of Phineas, and that explains why Lawrence bought so much paraphernalia in response to the loss of his idol. Dramatic, yes, but plausible, I doubt it very much. The other theories are quite strange, like some people who claim that it is Dan Povenmire, or well, the character of Dan Povenmire in his cartoons. Strangely, the creators of the show have characters of their own within the story of Phineas and Ferb and Milo Murphy. And the logic is that since that gentleman created the characters outside of the show, it makes sense that he also created them inside the show. And to tell the truth, yes, it is curious that his real daughters look like Candace and Phineas, but we don't really have solid evidence beyond that. Besides, no real explanation is given as to why he would abandon his family in Phineas and Ferb. And it's not even the most interesting theory. My favorite theory comes from a certain TikTok made by Dan Povenmire about 3 years ago to promote the Candace Against the Universe movie.
Doofenshmirtz says what you tell him.
Okay, this is something everyone has been asking for. Phineas's biological father is none other than... Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
Evidently, this was another joke with Doofenshmirtz rickrolling us instead of giving us the real answer. PT, but half the internet came up with the idea that the rickroll was the real answer. That Phineas's real father is none other than Rick Astley, the original singer of that song, which could work. For starters, red hair is a recessive inherited trait. No, which means that both parents must have it for the children to have red hair. And that means that of all the ones we've reviewed, he's the one who genetically shoots to the #1 position of likelihood of being the father, because he's the only redhead on our list of suspects. As an aside, Rick Astley is a British singer who started his career in the second half of the 1980s, right around the same time as Lindana. So they could easily have met on the international pop music scene and fall in love. It may even explain why Phineas thinks his parents' separation is funny. The lyrics of Never Gonna Give You Up, the Rick Roll song, says that Rick will never leave you, that he'll never let you down, that he'll never run and leave you, that he'll never make you cry, that he'll never say goodbye and never tell a lie and hurt you. Things that, if he's Phineas's divorced father, he definitely did, and it's kind of funny that his most famous song becomes a reference to his failed marriage. It's the only thing that fits. But if that's the case, why is there any time left in the video? Well, if we're looking for the answer to who Phineas's father is, and that's it, I think the Rick Astley theory fits the most with everything we know, and I could leave the video up to here. But while researching, I couldn't help but notice that the situation is very weird, weirder than it should be. It is very strange that there is no mention or record of this father in the entire series. There are no family photos, no references, none of the children have any traumas or memories of him, and to tell the truth, it is as if this father never existed. In fact, Linda still keeps her own last name, Flynn, and aside, the Star Wars special is not particularly reliable for finding out who this mysterious father is. Leaving aside that the story is in another continuity and clearly lives in another family history, with Candace escaping at a young age to join the Empire, in this continuity, Doofenshmirtz takes the place of a Darth Vader parody, which directly suggests that he is Phineas's father, who here parodies Luke. And yes, Vader and Luke appear in the special as distinct characters, but it's extremely obvious that Phineas and Doof were parodying those aspects of the movie, and since it's super clear that Doofenshmirtz is not Phineas' father in the original continuity, we can entertain another possibility. What if there is no father? What if Linda was simply a sperm bank and had both children from a single anonymous donor? This would absolutely solve all the inconsistencies we find out there. It would explain why there is no trace of Candace and Phineas' father. He was never present. Linda was always a single mother because that's what she wanted at the time she left her life as a pop star. When she explains to Candace why she left her life as a star, she literally says she means to raise a family. And I think that's exactly what she did. She raised her family on her own, fulfilling her dream of having a family on her own, and then later on she met Lawrence and fell in love. Or at least that's what I think. So I hope you liked this video. Like it if you did, subscribe for more videos like this. Remember that sometimes a mystery has 2 answers instead of 1, and see you in the next video. Bye.